Okay, Lee, I've got a little video here I've made. I want to show you, this is your gear door sequencer that you returned to me. Excuse me, I've got it connected up to one of my servo testers to provide the signal so I don't have to have a transmitter and a receiver, and that's my receiver battery. But I just want to show you that it is working the way it's supposed to, so that when I return this to you, whether I send you this one or whether I send you a different one, you'll have some confidence that I'm not just blowing you off or not taking what you say seriously or whatever about the trouble you were having. But I've got the servos positioned and I got them marked. This is the door servo, gear door servo, and this is the retract servo. I'm going to cycle the servo tester from one direction to the other. The first thing you'll see is that the door will open, and then the retract servo shifts the servo to the up position, and then after the pause set by the pot, the gear door's closed. And now the gear door will open again, and the retract controller is shifted to the down position, and after a pause, the servo closes again. Now I'm going to flip the number, I believe it's the number 2 switch that reverses the action of the gear door servo. I'm going to flip this, and it'll take a cycle or two to let you see that it has changed the direction of the gear door servo. But now, when I see now at that time it didn't open the servo because the servo was already in the open position, and now you'll see that the gear doors are going to close. We reversed that on the sequencer using switch number 2. So now what was open is now closed. So the gear doors are closed. They're going to open. The retracts will go the other way, and then after the pause, the gear doors will go back to the closed position. Now I'm going to flip that switch back to the other position, and it'll clear up again. The retract will move first because that servo is already open, or the gear doors are already open. So the gear comes up, and the gear door closes after a suitable pause. We're going to go gear down, so we give it that. The servo moves, the gear comes down, and then after a suitable pause, the doors close. So when you get it hooked up, I recommend that you start in this configuration, either with number 1 and number 2 on, or at least start with switch number 1 on. Set it so that your gear door servo moves both times, and that way you'll be able to tell, because when the gear door servo is set to close back after the gear have moved, then you always know that the gear door servo is going to move first, and then the retract servo is going to move, or the retracts are going to move, and then the doors will close back again. So it sometimes it'll take the mystery out of what's going on. You can tell what's happening. Now, I don't know about the spurious signals that you were getting on your servos. I don't know if it might have something to do with the location of your wires. As you can see, I've not been very careful with mine. And this is an old Futaba 3004, and this is a high-tech HS 5625 metal gear. So neither one of them are doing anything unusual or any quirky things. This programming is programming that I have used for a long time. I've sold hundreds and by now thousands of these, and they're all over the world, and this programming works. It works right every time. You've even got a quick, I guess you'd call it a quick change built into it. So let's say the gear are down and you decide you take off and you raise the gear, the door opens and the gear comes up, and then you think, oh wait, something's wrong. You can bring the gear down immediately. You don't have to wait for that door to finish moving or for the whole system to cycle. By the same token, let's go the other way. Let's say your gear are up. Now I'm gonna wait for this door to close here. But let's say your gear are up and your doors are closed. And you're flying around and you decide, okay, I want to land. So you open the gear doors and you move the gear down, and then somebody's on the runway. You can bring the gear up immediately, and the delay takes back over again, and the gear doors will close, and you don't have to wait for anything to cycle. You can interrupt that cycle midstream, and it works perfectly every time. So your sequencer is working correctly. I'm going to send you an email, and we'll discuss this. If you want me to send you a different one, I will. Just for grins. By the way, the servo reverser is working too. Those things are they're foolproof. But there's something else going on, and I'll be glad to try to help you flesh it out and figure out what it is. But it's not in the sequencer. At least we know that now. So I'll get this published to YouTube and send you the link, and we'll go from there. Thanks, Lee.